pat of the bag and hold up your pat of the bag there, Kelly. Don't you know this is what we do for fun? Don't worry about the bag.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. My name is Kelly Wright.
And I'm James Ernest, and we're here all week coming to you from the twin foci of podcasting professionalism, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Seattle, Washington. And
Foci!
Kelly, I'm going to bring back an old conversation starter, an old opening segment brought to you this week by Recipes for One. Today's conversation starter comes from a list of would you rather questions from the internet.
Okay. All right.
Would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak?
I would, that's a tough one. I would rather lose the ability to read because I do a lot of talking. That's how I communicate. It would be terrible if I lost my voice because I sing as well. So I would rather lose the ability to read. So
I read all day.
Well, there's audiobooks. There you go.
There's not audiobooks of my Facebook feed, though. I mean, that's literally what I'm reading all day, right?
But okay, let's think of those folks who are born blind. There are text readers. So there's that.
I think you're cheating if you have volunteered to lose your ability to read and then find a way to read. The question that followed
cheating.
that.
That's called ingenuity, my friend.
I've got ingenuity right here. I read recently that Stephen Hawking's voice never changed, even though better voice simulators came along, because the one that he started with was programmed by a friend of his who kind of like died shortly after doing the work, right? So like, yes, this is my voice now.
I love that. And I love the fact, speaking of Stephen Hawking, every time I think of him, I always think of the episode of The Simpsons that he was in, where he did the voice. He did his own voiceover. It wasn't somebody imitating him. And he got to push the buttons for his lines, which I thought was fantastic. I love that. So, little tidbit
the question right after this was, would you rather have a golden voice or a silver tongue? And I thought, that kind of describes the two of us, doesn't it?
I know, it does. We're together. Yeah, so a golden voice here, that would be wah. And silver tongue devil would be two.
I got you right here, one with a silver tongue in my mouth. Dozens, please send us your conversation starters courtesy of this podcast. We can't wait to start a conversation with you. How's your week been, Kelly?
You know what? It's been okay, as a matter of fact. I had a fairly quiet week with work. It wasn't challenging. There were some really big meetings, so most of the three guys that I support, they were in these huge meetings, so it was pretty quiet. So I was able to go through and clean up a bunch of stuff and make sure that they were on target, and deliverables that I have on my D list, I finally got around to doing. So that's
nice to have a cleanup week at work when your job doesn't interfere with you doing your job.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. So yeah, it was good. And I'm starting another big purge in the house, so it's pretty tore up.
You're eliminating political rivals? I understand completely.
I am. A purge. So I start the sound of the purge sound from the movie Purge, and then I run out and scare the neighbors. So, no, I don't do that. No,
you scare them out of their houses because then they're easier to pick off.
I'm purging far too many belongings. Too much stuff. I'm a magpie. I have a tendency to collect, and then with the ADHD, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So I'm discovering things where it's like, oh, I have 4 of these.
I'm the same way here. I just bought a new keyboard because my old one was kind of crappy, and now I have 2, and the old one is still here because it's not broken. It's kind of nice. God damn it!
It's like
how is someone supposed to live?
Why?
Well, to keep things interesting, I'm recording on yet a new piece of hardware. Not a new piece of hardware, but a different piece of hardware from last week. You can see my apartment now behind me because I was too lazy to set up a baffling screen, and we can just see if it's worth doing or not.
Well, it's not as boomy as the other one. So is the microphone that's in the screen that I'm seeing
guess what I did? I changed I changed the shape of the microphone. You know, it's got a dial on the back. It goes to cardioid, and so now I think it sounds a lot better without worry.
So you've changed the shape of the pickup wave.
The pickup, yeah.
Yeah, so it's more, are you using more of a shotgun type situation?
No, this
So-
is a cardioid. It's right in front of my face. It's
Oh, I'm
picking
sorry, you
up
said
what's
that.
here
You
and
said
not what's behind, so it doesn't
Yeah.
pick up the echo off the wall and so
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, you said that. You said cardioid, and I just don't listen to you. Anyway, so how is
What
Vegas?
about my silver tongue, Kelly? You're supposed to hang on every word. Hang on.
I'm sorry. What?
Every.
What?
Oh, for crying out loud.
Oh, for crying out loud. For Pete's sake.
Oh, for the sake of Pete.
Oh, sweet kidneys of Christ, you pissed me off. Anyway, tell me about your Vegas.
Well, this week I played in a slot tournament.
Oh,
I couldn't resist the urge to go and do one of these damn dumb things. A slot tournament is such a misnomer. You get, in this case, 3 sessions of 2 minutes each to sit down at a picked, a pre-programmed machine and wail on it as hard as you can, and they all just make coins, right? So I made like 600,000 points in 2 minutes, and I was like well below the halfway mark in all 3 of my flights.
Oh my
I
gosh.
definitely did not, do whatever it takes. I didn't pray to the right gods to win this slot tournament, but I did it anyway because it's a thing you do in Vegas, and it's an excuse to go down to Fremont Street and wander around and, see the place. So I did that. I think I got my Vegas out of my system this week.
I've never done a slot tournament, so
There's no real point. Usually they give you a free room. This one was just like, just show up. Do I get a free room with that? No.
No.
Okay. I'll make my own arrangements. It's a good thing I live 6 blocks away. Well, let me tell you, 6 blocks in 100-degree heat, going back and forth for 3 sessions.
That's tough.
My feet are not happy about that. They
that's-
wish I had
that's
just
tough.
stayed downtown and plopped my ass in a seat and played slots for 3 hours, which is exactly what they want you to do.
Yeah, they want you to do that, right? So as far as for joining a slot competition, do you put in any money or no?
This one, they did charge a little bit of money. Usually, though, they're invitation based. So if you are a player, if you have points at the casino, like they just invite a certain number of people to show up and do this thing. Literally, like I think there was a small buy-in for this event, but it was a loss leader anyway. I did the math. I added up the number of players and so forth. They do put money into these things because they know that they get a bunch of people stuck in their casino for 3 hours or days at a time.
Right.
Just playing their games and losing it all back to them.
So if you are they're not dropping actual physical coins. It's just the points.
No.
It's
It's just racking up points. Yeah. And
Okay,
then
so
it
you're
prints
racking
out-
up points.
It prints out a little ticket at the end, and the slot organizer comes by and grabs the ticket and runs it into their machine. It's very streamlined, automated, very simple, and yeah, there is no strategy besides hit the button as hard as you can.
Seriously. So it's just button pushing. Is it a limited amount of time? Like you have 2 minutes,
Yeah, 2
right?
minutes. You
Yeah,
got 2 minutes. The
Yeah.
bell goes off. Everyone's machines light up. You whack
And
on
you
a
just
button.
start
And
whack,
bang,
whack,
bang,
whack,
bang,
whack, whack,
bang.
whack,
And they got the guy walking around. Oh, hey, James is up to 11th out of 12 with 500 points. And just
Okay.
try to make it sound as exciting. Although mostly the people who run these things are not excited at all, and you can really tell. They're just like, all right, everybody,
Like,
this
this-
is your 3rd session of the slot tournament, and you all know the rules by now, so give us a countdown clock. Let's get started.
Yeah, it pays the bills, and so that's why they do it. So, I was watching a Twitter feed that COVID cases are up in Clark County. Are you okay?
COVID cases are up everywhere that won't get vaccinated, and
Yeah.
Clark County, I guess, I don't know how much tourism affects that, but yes, here and many other places around the world, we are sliding into a completely predictable and completely preventable 4th wave of COVID. Hooray.
Yes. Yep, hooray. And I am here in Washington, which numbers aren't going up, which is good. But however, the entire stateside around us is burning. So there are wildfires everywhere.
Oh, do you have the
Oregon,
fires? I should
Vancouver.
pay attention to the news, I guess.
Yes, you should. So Vancouver, Idaho, Montana, California, Oregon, and Eastern Washington, there are fires all over the place. And so right now, fortunately for us, I know the folks in Eastern Washington are getting hammered with the smoke cover. So we've got that marine layer air that's just keeping it pushed on the other side of the mountain. So that smoke hasn't come yet, but I'm like hawkishly watching weather predictions because I am now researching air filters, because the last time this happened, where
Oh
everything
yeah,
was
yeah.
hazy
You had to
and
lock
yellow,
yourself inside and close all the
yeah,
windows.
close all the windows, and it was just, you could taste it, you could smell it in your clothes. It was awful. So now I'm starting to research air filters. So if it happens again, I'm ready. I at least will have a filtered room to sleep in. So
We have a smoke season now.
yeah,
20
we
years
do have
ago, we did not have a smoke season.
Nope. It is a smoke season, and usually the fire season doesn't start until like August, and this time it just started late June. Just showed up, started June. So,
I think science ought to get on this. I think science could probably figure out if the globe is actually warming or something. I don't know. They could just. It seems like if they could get the information out there, people would change their behavior. Don't you think
would
that's
think.
true?
I try to have hope in humanity. However, no.
There's hope and then there's evidence.
And there's evidence. Yeah, so no. There's massive flooding over in Germany. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who have died over there. There's been wacko flooding in Michigan in regards to heavy rains and strange winds blowing. My mom's power was out for 48 hours because all these winds were blowing trees down. So,
And the earth is saying, I wonder if I should see a doctor.
should I see a doctor? I don't feel so good. So it's just been, yes, I'm keeping my eye out on the weather patterns and the wind patterns, and to see when the smoke season will come in. So, so James, there's a couple of really good fire maps out there. I recommend you just to take a look so you realize, holy crap, the biggest one right now in the country is called the Bootleg Fire, and that's in Oregon. And that is, today I read it was 22% contained, 293,000 square miles burned. Or acres. 293 square miles. That would be huge. It's still huge.
I don't know.
Anyway, it is football every 60 seconds, basically, that starts burning.
A football field, you mean?
Football. Did I say
Not
football?
a football.
It's so tiny.
That
Football
doesn't
field.
seem like, oh, what a cute little bootleg fire. Did
cute
you
little
fit that in
bootleg
your
fire.
boot? Did you sneak that past the abolitionists?
I know. So that's how my brain works. I already said football field in my head. However, only the word football came out. So there you go.
It's okay.
Anyway.
I got your meaning and yet had to clarify anyway because it helps
Correct.
others. That's why I do
Correct.
it. It's not to
Thank
mock
you.
you. It's to help others.
It's to help others. You're such a helpful person, James.
I spend all my
appreciate
time on the internet helping other people.
Is that what you do? Oh, good. So tell me a bit about your games. Have you made progress since you drove down there and you're just hanging out? Are you working on
This
games?
last week has mostly been a cleaning and dealing with the heat and doing a little bit of Vegas. I went out and played games with friends this weekend, but I haven't done any design work. I have been corresponding with my artist and getting some stuff together for this trick-taking game we've been talking about, but very early
Right.
stuff. So no, not a lot of work along those lines. Next week, I have penciled in that I will do some actual work.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I did do yesterday. If you haven't done this, find and I'll send you a link to one of the good supercuts of it. But find the Princess Bride. Have you seen the Princess Bride remake that the celebrities all did during COVID?
Yes, I have seen that, and it was behind a charity paywall for a long, long time because it was raising money for a charity, and it is now on YouTube, and so it is. Both of us highly recommend it. It's brilliant. It's really brilliant, and it's fun,
it's
and it's
hilarious.
funny.
You can tell everyone involved in the project really loves the movie, and it gets you right in the feels.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. So I will put a link in our show page so that you can easy click. So listen to the show, then click on the link. Ta-da! That's how it works.
It's so easy.
So I know you took a carload of stuff down there. Are you redecorating? What's going on?
No, I live here, and there's a lot of things at my other house, like, the third keyboard or whatever, and they just kind of build up. And sometimes I smuggle them down on my luggage, but then there's a few that are too big for luggage, like this Mos Eisley Lego set I just bought. And, after 2 years, it was time for another carload. I brought, a couple of sticks of furniture and like an office chair, stuff like that.
Okay, well, I didn't know. I know you like decorating, so I didn't know if it was like time for a.
Isn't
time
that
for a
fabulous?
change.
I didn't bring this down, but I did order for the apartment this photograph of Las Vegas.
Okay.
Which is now I know, even when I'm in my house, even with the shades drawn, Las Vegas, it's right there.
You can still
That's
see
right.
it.
It's got a little
That's good.
feel, a little Las Vegas feel there.
That's excellent. Would you like to take a break?
I think it's time.
I think it's time for our sponsor. I'm going to cough right now. Excuse me. It happens. Good Lord. Good Lord. This episode of Here All Week is brought to you by Recipes for One from page 68.
Are you recently divorced, unlucky in love, or just out on the market way past your sell-by date? Turn to page 68 of Softcore Party Magazine for the latest and greatest Recipes for One.
Eat something great from page 68.
Previous recipes include cake in a coffee mug, single serving stir fry, and I ate the whole pound of bacon.
Yep, I've done that. Yep. This week, it's Cousin Lonely's hard-boiled eggs.
Step 1. Buy a steamer basket.
Yes, a steamer basket. You used to have one, but your ex took it, along with all that other kitchen stuff you never use.
Get the best dang steamer basket you can because expensive toys might just fill that ever-deepening hole in your heart.
When the basket arrives, open the Amazon package slowly with a glass of Chardonnay and take a moment to ask yourself how everything went wrong.
Next, wash out your only saucepan. Then pray the steamer basket fits inside because you were too lazy to measure before you ordered it. This is why you're alone.
God. Run an inch of cold water into the pan and put it on medium heat. Bring it to a rolling boil.
Yes, a real rolling boil, not just a few bubbles stuck to the bottom, trapped below the surface, like all the things you might have said.
I didn't read this at all because you just sent it before we started the show. God, it's so sad. Put some eggs into the basket, then lower it in. Make however many eggs will fit, or however many you have. You get to choose. They're just eggs. They can't hurt you.
Cover the pot. It has a lid somewhere, maybe in the sink.
Set a timer for 11 minutes, minus however long it took you to find the lid. Didn't you even read the instructions before you started? This is why you're alone.
Spend 9 of those 11 minutes convincing yourself that you absolutely could not care less where your ex is right now, even though they are probably at the club having a swell time with excellent people about whom you also could not care less.
When the timer beeps, lift the steamer out.
Remember to do this the way your ex showed you, with a fork, not your hands.
Reminisce for a moment about the long, lazy nights, eating eggs, watching scary movies, and dreaming of the life you would have together.
Then think about the day it all came crashing down, the pain when your happy life was suddenly wrapped around a tree so hard you can still smell the airbags.
Get used to it, because you're alone now, and nothing will ever change that, not even these perfect hard-boiled eggs.
Give your hot eggs some time to cool off. They may be hard-boiled, but they still have feelings.
Don't put them in the fridge yet. Don't run cold water on them. Just let them be.
Surely you can give them some distance. Surely you can recognize that these eggs are just eggs, doing the best they can, and they just need to be alone for a while.
These eggs are not your therapist. They are not your best friend. They are not your mother.
They are just some hard-boiled eggs sharing the moment with you, waiting for a chance to break out of their shells.
Then, if you must, go ahead and destroy them like everything else you touch. This is why you're alone.
So delicious. Thanks for joining us on page 68. Next week's recipe, Better the Second Time, the lonely guide to reheating fast food leftovers.
Even leftover steaks! This is so sad. Oh, my God.
I think you mean perfect.
It is perfect. Yes, it is perfect. This is why you're alone. This is it. This is why you're alone. Oh, James, you write the best stuff. Seriously. So, how are you? Is anyone else having issues updating Windows 10? Because I've been dealing with it for days and I'm pissed.
You know, I'm literally on my laptop today because my Windows 10 desktop machine decided to just die. Like it was watching YouTube and then it was like, actually, no. Remember those video problems we used to have? Now I think it's just going to be death.
Oh,
so yeah,
okay.
it sits behind me waiting to be, I don't know, crated up and sent home. I don't know.
I don't know. No, I had to remove my entire Adobe suite because something was happening there that the updates weren't happening. So I have to remove it.
Wow.
I'm going to have to reinstall it. And now I'm still trying to do all the safety updates because it's been a while because every time the updates would come out, you're like, nope, 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 because I knew this problem was going to happen. And now it's true. It's the apocalypse on my computer. I can't get it to. And then that's the awful thing. It's like, don't shut your computer off because we're updating. And so it's like 35%. And then it sits there, 46%. And then it sits there. And then it stops. It just freezes. It just freezes at like 46%. I'm like, oh, screw this. So I go and shut it off. They're like, undoing everything we just did to your computer. I'm like, God.
Right.
So
you can't just shut it down. It's gotta do that backup thing. Well, you know, Carol told me yesterday that she was reinstalling Nora's PC software for presumably a similar reason. I don't know, but it's dangerous out there. It's hell for those of us who need an operating system.
It's hell. And the person, I know the person directly who is responsible for all these update pop-ups and getting everything updated and compliance. I know the person who was on the team to do that. So I'm going to have words.
One person?
With him. Well, he had a team. He led the team, but I know this person, so I'm going to have words. And actually, I'm going to tell him, you need to come over. You need to come over and fix this because I can't do this. You need to
invite him over for a barbecue and then give him 34% of his hamburger and say, yeah, the rest is coming.
The rest is coming until you update my machine.
46% of your hamburger now. Actually, could I just have something else? Sure. Now I'm going to uninstall this hamburger.
Give me that. Give me that.
Give me that slowly. Don't leave. You can't get up.
So I know you said you have some creativity set aside for this week. Anything else you're doing? Are you headed? I know it's unbelievably hot there right now.
It is still, it's believably hot. It's gone from 118 to 108. So like any 10-degree shift in temperature, there is a difference. It's just that it's gone from hell to, nope, still hell, just a little cooler.
Just a little cooler.
It is not so hot that I cannot walk 6 blocks without dying. Was that enough negatives? I can get down to Fremont Street and hide in an air-conditioned hotel and be okay, dripping in sweat, but not like heat stroked or anything. And I think that if it were like humid, which it is today, that would get worse. But yeah, it's not as bad as 118. I don't know if it's ever going to get better. The 14-day forecast is just, it's just burping and sun and 108 for like forever.
So, okay. So since I've not lived down there, I've only vacationed, and I pick seasons, like March and then October, so it's a bit more comfortable. So this isn't normal, is it?
Over 100 kind of is normal summer temperatures for Las Vegas. Over 110 isn't. 118 was a record breaker, but only by inches.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because
it may be a little more protracted than usual. Like, I don't know. I don't have all that data on hand. It's always inhumanly hot down here. It's always best if you come in the summer to hide inside to have air conditioning. Part of it is I'm cheap, and so I've got my AC set at like 83 or something, so it's pretty warm even inside.
I would still sweat in your apartment with my hot flashes. 83 is not cutting it, mister.
Well,
so if I come to visit,
and if you were here as my guest, I would churn more power through this thing. But right
68.
now I'm like, what is the absolute maximum that I can like sit under a fan and play video games and not die?
Right, exactly. 68, mister. That's the temperature that I'm most comfortable at, is 68. I don't have any trivia for you today. I have nothing. Do you have anything for me?
Oh, I did. I prepared nothing. I did have one more topic for discussion.
Sure.
I have been listening to people listening to Jacob Collier. Do you know who Jacob Collier is?
Great musician.
Yeah, a fantastic, amazing musician. And for probably more than 2 hours last night, I listened to people react to his All Night Long mix. And of course, I would joke that I listened to it all night long. Haha. But like, it's amazing to watch musicians. Some of the people who react to these videos are just reaction video idiots, and they don't really know what they're listening to. But when you watch like music theory people and music teachers and like guitarists and so on react to Jacob Collier's mixtapes, they're like, they're fun to watch because they see what's happening, they hear what's
Right.
happening, and
Right.
they have to pause at the really hard parts and go either here's what he's doing and it's amazing and here's why, or just make a sour face at the screen and go, this man is not human.
Yeah, yeah. So Jacob Collier is definitely a musician worth listening to. Speaking of musicians, are you looking into doing your JoCo cruise in 2022?
Yes. We are still planning to be on the JoCo cruise, me and my family, and that is the Jonathan Colton cruise that happens in the late winter, early spring. We hope that this fourth COVID wave will have subsided by then, and of course we are a community that is mostly vaccinated, so that's nice, but it's still kind of touch and go. Much sooner in my future, there's a big sort of poker party thing that happens in Las Vegas that a friend of mine is an organizer of, and
Okay.
so I've been cajoled into signing up for that. But there's going to be 40 to 100 people in a ballroom in a hotel, like playing poker all day, and I'm kind of like,
They're
is
not
safe?
they're not requiring proof of vaccination for this.
No, it's a private event, and they're asking everyone, and everyone sort of knows everyone, and that's nice, but they're asking everyone to be smart, but that's about the best you can do.
Yeah, masks. I guess you're going to be wearing a mask no matter
I
what.
probably will, yeah. I don't know any of these
Yeah.
people, but
So
yeah.
that hides a face then. So I know I don't know if you have tells or if you've worked on your tells. I have no idea. So
Well,
masks. will hide
here,
it.
let's play act the World Series of Poker, and we'll see if I
Okay.
have any tells. I'm
Okay,
going to
let's see.
pretend that I just got dealt 2 aces on my very first hand. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay. I'm out.
I have a friend. My friend Jeff Morrow, just to joke about that. He wants to get into the main event just so that he can do that on the very first hand. Just
Oh,
get
that's-
any 2 cards and look at them and go, oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
And then everybody at the table would hate him.
Well,
him.
we also talked about doing something called the Origami Project, which was to put someone in the main event of the World Series of Poker, the $10,000 multi-day event at the World Series of Poker, to see how long he can last folding every hand. And it wouldn't just be when the action comes to you, you just throw your cards away. It's like, no, this is an endurance contest. So every hand you have to really think about it. Like stretch it out as long as you can, see how long you can stay in and take bets on how long someone could last. Is it an hour? Is it 3 hours? I don't know. They do give you a lot of chips before they're either knocked out through running out of money or
Right.
Kicked out because they have publicized that they're doing this and someone
Oh.
catches them and says, would you knock it off? But that's the Origami Project.
Interesting. I would watch that. I would
Right.
watch just basically.
That would be a very entertaining video. But
Yes.
then, of course, you'd be surrounded by cameras and even more likely to get caught. All of this is thinking of the past, though, of course, because that was prior to poker mostly going online thanks to COVID and its unnecessary nastiness.
Yep. Okay, so here we are at the end of the show. So next week coming up, you talked about doing some creative work and just kind of hanging around and playing games. Next week for me is just the usual with the dogs and the fam and
That's right. This is my week to get work done, to get games cleaned up, to install finally Creative Suite in my I guess on my laptop now since my desktop just died.
oh man, I'm so sorry.
I don't know, man. It's died before, but I was just like, I have another computer. It's newer. Fine. You're retired. Stop being a pain in my ass.
But isn't that what retirement gifts to you now is time to do things?
And an unnecessary pains in my ass. Yes. Day in
Yes.
and day out.
Yes. Oh, speaking of retirement and stuff, I just found out that you don't necessarily have to be 55 or older to join AARP and get the discounts. You can be any age. Did you know that? I thought that
I don't
was
know.
awesome.
I am a member and not yet 55, but I think I'm on my wife's membership.
Right. So in the mission statement, it says we aim towards 50 plus individuals, but any age can join. So Kelly's fun fact tip to help save some extra money if that's what you're into. You can save money on rental cars and hotel rooms, some restaurants. There's like health plans that are on there. There's all sorts of stuff that you can save money on. And I had a friend of mine who is a member who is like, what do you laughing at?
Take it from us, the olds. There's ways to
Take
save
it from
money.
the
on
olds. There's
things.
ways to save money, kids. Put your pennies in a jar. Hide the jar in the closet. Tell no one.
So in order to rent a car or a hotel room, I'd have to leave the house, right? Yeah,
Yes,
take it
yes.
from the olds.
Yep.
There's worlds out there yet to be explored.
Yep. So I have a friend of mine who is basically at 39 years old and has an AARP membership and uses it all the time, or before COVID, but used it all the time for flying to save money on plane tickets. And the
nice.
reaction was always fun when they said, oh, it says here you're an AARP member. And here's this young face. We're like, I am. And they'd pull out the card and be like, so just the look of confusion just always cracked me up. So anyway, so join AARP, but you'll get inundated with lots of mail, as long as you don't mind. But you can save some money. There you go. Tip from me. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. I think this is a fine show. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your family, your friends, your community, your neighbors, because we're all still going through it. Thanks again for joining us. My name is Kelly Wright.
And I'm James Ernest, and we're here all week.